Also, when Corey did Double Impact, it had to be
Yeah.
right about
Now,
90, maybe right about 91, 92.
right.
I remember.
Now,
So like
now this
1980.
is the uh, this is what I seen today. I seen like this clip. I don't know if I should play it, but I could. What I could do is block it or something like that. Let me see if this gonna work. Okay, yeah, it probably will work. And then yeah, so
Probably one of the most difficult things in the world to do to build muscle as you're losing fat. It doesn't just happen overnight. One of the misconceptions is you're going to wake up one morning and say, oh my God, what have I done? It happens very, very slowly. There's no activity is going to make a woman look like a man unless you do something to your endocrine system, meaning if you inject steroids into your body. The women that are extremely muscular, the ones that you have to do a double on, and the ones that don't look quite right, I can guarantee you that the same ones that have taken the same type of drug therapy that precedes a sex change operation. And I felt like I was fighting a one-woman battle, trying to encourage women on one hand to embrace bodybuilding and weight training as a way to really be fit and be strong and be empowered as a woman. I felt the need to talk about the white elephant in the room.
yeah, I watching some of this. I'm not everything, but
Yeah, I hear a good bit of it. When you talk about the whole thing where people confuse when you
yeah,
about how when you think you get a bodybuilder, you just be big and jack all of a sudden. Unless you are taking performance enhancers or taking a lot of them, then you're not going to get as jack. And even if you do take a lot of them, if you don't follow the regimen, the diet, you're not going to build muscle that way. It takes time. It's a process.
yeah,
With her physique, she had that combination. She had that exotic beauty. Because as I said earlier, when I was talking to you, that she was Rachel was of Mexican descent. She is, I think, part Mexican. I forget
right.
which side of She had that very exotic look to her. Great physique, very feminine. This is right now what you're seeing in bikini. This is
Right.
bikini, you know, and this is what they want to go back to, but you can't go back. I'm sorry, fellas. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. Fuck them. I mean, come on. You cannot go back once you advance. Once these women and even the men get a little bit more leeway because hey, everybody like to see big jack dudes. The women they don't get that same leeway. You know, if you put Rachel McLish beside the current Miss Olympia bikini competitor, you cannot tell the difference.
Hmm.
You wouldn't really tell it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't tell the difference, other than maybe most definitely the bikini competitor now is going to be more jacked than her then.
So what like with the fitness model thing? I mean, I would say like the fitness models they have the same physique as she do
Not really. That is
right
supposed
now.
to be
Not really. Like
not really. The fitness model girls are more like maybe when women's bodybuilding first started out, like women's bodybuilding was more like figure. You know,
okay,
the fitness model girls are going to be a lot smoother. They'll have some muscle definition, but not as much. And that's why it's a bullshit division because it won't take it long for that division to start to evolve, just like bikini did, just like wellness did, just like the other divisions did.
yeah,
And we talked about this yesterday. You were there, me, Keith, and Jeremy. How the problem is instead of putting the burden on the athletes, it's responsibility of the officials, of the judges, the higher ups to make this because they're the ones who created the divisions. They're the ones who put in the rules and the regulations and the criteria. Instead of forcing those same thing. And like I said, okay, so like Sarah Vilgus, she shouldn't be champion. It should go to the more look that the more one that looks more feminine, the more streamlined look. I was like Sharon Higgins should have won this year. Last year should have went to Brooke Walker. You know, it should have went to the person that looks more what the criteria is. And but like I said, we're not gonna go back to Rick McLeish. You're not gonna ever go back to the Carla Dunlaps. You're not gonna ever go back to any of these women because they are that's the past.
Yeah.
And like I said, she had a great look to her, very feminine, very beautiful. She was on magazine covers, she was on video covers, exercise shows, same with Coy. There was I remember a special that was on years ago. It was called The 20th Century Woman. And it was her, some other ladies, they were talking about women in bodybuilding. They did a part where she pulls out her Mexican heritage, where she's at some kind of cantina, and her and this lady were doing like some Mexican dance. Their faces off each other.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like you said, you said that it seems like she kind of like the way how she was explaining it, in this interview, that she said that that people were against her when she said certain things about the women's look, about the enhancement drugs and stuff like that. And you told me that she just kind of stepped away from bodybuilding altogether. So with the sport.
Yeah,
So,
used to be. Sometimes she used to they used to have maybe a little event somewhere in California. She'll be there, maybe as a guest, just everybody recognize her. After that, she doesn't really say anything about it or do anything about it. Even when they brought back women's bodybuilding back in 2020 to the Olympia, when they made the announcement, just about every woman that was Miss Physique, from the lady who beat her back in 1981 to, I think Corey was there, Carla Dunlap, Andrea Bouchette, who split the title with Valentina Shapigan. I think even I think Linda and can't forget Kim Tversky. They were there to support, because they were all former Olympians. But Rachel was there.
Yeah,
and you were thinking she's the very first.
Man, she didn't say much, or what?
She wasn't there. She
wasn't there. Oh, okay.
No, she wasn't there. She didn't either. They might have invited her, but she didn't take the invitation.
Yeah.
Like I said, she's kind of distanced herself from it. I understand you want to go, but you, like I said again, you were the person that really a lot of the women in your era looked up to. And then you really
she paved the way.
Yeah, and she really crossed over when she did Pumping Iron 2 to women. You had that debate between her and Beth Francis, because she actually skipped the '83 Miss Olympia for that, and that's how come Carla Dunlap won that year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, was it, in this interview, she talked about how about Beth Francis' look, at the time, she, of course, I know you know that Beth Francis was a power lifter, and she had that power lifter physique. And so when she kind of switched to bodybuilding and to powerlifting to bodybuilding, they was, I think that the judges, they didn't really know what to make of it, because it kind of it overstepped the boundaries of how they look, how the women look back in them days. So, but
I remember.
I could play. No, go
I
ahead.
always remember watching that. There's a part with this old British judge. He was really in favor. He really liked Bev's look, but the other judges didn't like it. And it was like they were arguing about it. He was really, and like I said, with Bev, she just wasn't refined yet. She was just coming in with the size, but didn't have conditioning. She was just different level. Now,
Yeah.
Belle was a power lifter. She was a track star. She, even like this is a good example. When we talk about the fit model thing, you can see women from. You can look right now. There's women in track and field who have more muscle. We're going to have more muscle definition than women in fit model.
Yeah.
'Cause especially if you're doing any kind of like if you do any of the 200 to 100 meters or 400 meters, because you need that muscle for speed. Unlike if you were a long distance runner, or like you're doing the like the miles or the other ones, you don't need that much muscle. But those women, they need it because they have to push and move. Like, remember there's that Carmelita Genta, her body was amazing. Or even Flojo. Flojo looked like she was like, you look at her when her physique back there, she looked like more like what Rachel Mclish looked like back then.
Right. Well, we got a guest, Curtis L. Jordan Jr. What's up, Curtis? Corey Everson was one of my favorites, especially from the film Double Impact. Yeah.
Curtis.
Yeah. So I'll play a little bit of it and what she gonna say.
Women, these other women were saying, oh, steroids bodybuilding won't make you look like a man. And they look like very, very manly. So I had to make that distinction, absolutely, because it needed to be said.
And how did they treat you in the bodybuilding world itself?
The way I was treated in bodybuilding was with respect, because I was the only one talking about it. Even the ones on steroids said, yeah, Rachel, you're right. And I was the champion. I was the Miss Olympia. I was the one they were trying to dethrone. And yet they were caught between a rock and a hard place. I was friends with so many of these women, and I love many of them, but one thing had nothing to do with the other. If they wanted to take steroids, they should be on the stage with the man and compete with the man. If they were chemically, hormonally, similar to a man. That was my feeling. It was very simple, black and white, and that's just the way I felt. And I said it way back then, and I, was considered a very outspoken type of a person. That's one of the nicer descriptions of me, but people needed to know the truth, and I could only tell the truth as much as I was able to see for myself. I didn't have any proof. I didn't see lots, maybe one taking the pills or putting the injection into the body, but I didn't have to. You can look at a body and know that there's something not right. I was doing everything possible, nutritionally, training hard. Nobody trained harder than I did. I'd get up before everybody. If it was raining, I'd still be out on the bike pad doing my cardio, double training, split sessions, just everything. And your body responded in a good way. It looked beautiful and I loved it. It just wasn't responding as fast as these others who would gain 15 pounds of muscle in a year. Oh, because they're genetically gifted? I don't think so. If you look at previous pictures of their bodybuilding days when they were competing in the normal ranks, and all of a sudden, oh, I've got a new trainer, and all of a sudden I've gained 15 pounds of muscle. What's the difference? It's steroids. And it's a very, very easy thing to detect to the trained eye. So it was just a part of life. It was just a fact of life. Muscles were being revered. They were being rewarded. So you didn't blame them. I don't blame them. I don't judge them, because everybody makes these choices for themselves. And I thought, well, I'll do it my way, because this is what I believe. Bodybuilding, to my end, was to help women and to give them this message about empowering themselves and helping themselves. The women, I was so privileged to have introduced this to the women of the world. And that is still my message. So the bodybuilding, steroid / competitive aspect of it, it was just a bump in the road of the big message. And unfortunately, it was the demise of women's bodybuilding.
Yeah, so that's what she was saying. What's your thoughts on that?
Well,
George?
like anything, all sports evolve and change. Yes, women back then were using performance enhancers. and it's hard to say natural now. I mean, they're trying to get the natural bodybuilding into the IFBB, NBC, but now it's it's too much influence in the sport, and that's the problem is that this is one thing you always get accused of.
Definitely more to say.
Sorry,
And
go ahead.
and you know what? Everybody is going to use what they need to use to get over to the next level. You know, you want to be the best at this game, you have to play the game where it's how it's put in front of you. You make the choice. Either say, you know what, I'm not going to use it, or you use it. It's there for a reason. And then again, let's say about again, manly. Here's the thing is, maybe masculine, but not manly. I keep telling people, being a man and looking like a man, it's two different. You can never really look like a man, no matter how much you take. You might have some masculine features, but being a man is a state of mind. How you walk, how you move, you know, and
But can I ask you? No, go ahead. No, I'm just saying. I want to ask you. But if you projecting it, like what people supposed to think, and this is coming from somebody that was bodybuilding.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you supposed to think? Because I mean, even let's say even a dude like acting like a woman, like there's dudes that look like women. You know, I could say that. You know,
yeah.
I couldn't. I remember, like not to control. Remember when I interviewed somebody and I thought they was a woman and they turned out to be something else. So,
but that's one thing if you wear makeup and a wig. Most of the women don't even, you know, they do wear makeup, but we only know they're women. It's just that's the one side effects to steroids. It can, you know, give you, not say you're not gonna look like a man, but you will have masculine features. And that's everybody typically says when you talk about female bodybuilders, they look like a man, but not saying not look like a man, she might have masculine features. You know, that's the point. People need to put that point across. Being a man is one thing, looking like one is another. There's guys out here who are grown, you know, and still act like they're teenagers. My little brother was just here this early this evening, and you know he comes by, you know, and he got a house and a wife, you know, he's talking about because my car shop said I told him to get a new job. Said don't worry about me, you worry about your house, you worry about your stuff. He said you got you got to take care of yourself first. You know we all grown here. You know I don't need you to take care of me because most anything you're the one always leaning on me, but you got to stand on your own. If I need something for you, I'll let you know. Other than that, I gotta stand on my own. You know, I appreciate like this afternoon, me and my nephew went to do our laundry. You borrowed my sister's car. We appreciate that because I can't get around like I used to. Because right now, I was talking to my other sister when we were having Thanksgiving. I think about getting knee surgery. Well, you got weight, but the thing is, for me, in order to lose this weight, I need good set working knees. You know, it's a lot of work to anything, and. You know, we understand she's there, she's seen it, but still at the same time, you know, it's the evolution of athletes. And, and one thing is that if the higher ups not the ones, they're the ones who knows this is going on, but they turn a blind eye because they know ticket sales. Like we were talking with Jeremy and Keith, how no one really want to come see someone, even though hey, maybe the regular everyday Tom, Dick, and Harry and Mary and Jane might want to go see it, but truthfully, the real fans like we like to see muscle, like to see a body develop. We like to see the huge round shoulders, the caps, the abs, the pectorals. We want to see that pop, And after a while, those women like not just Rachel. There was also Sherry Bernone. That's why she left from Women's Bodybuilding because it was just surpassing her, and the other ones that stick to it because they want to go to that next level as an athlete. I understand some people want to say, you know what, I want to pull back. Okay, respect your choice. Okay, you want to pull back and do what you want to do, but at the same time is if you're not ready, if you get to sport, you have to understand what's evolved in. And if you are a competitor, like any competitor, you want to be at your best. And if you need that little help up to get you to that level, you're gonna do it.
Yeah. I don't know. How do you see how do you see bodybuilding like in the next years to come?
Well, it's always going to be a struggle. It's going to be, for one thing, the fit model thing is going to, like we talked about how it's going to probably push out women's bodybuilding, even women's physique eventually. There's going to be, and then it's going to start looking like in the next 4 or 5 years, it's going to start looking like what women's physique, actually what bikini looks now.
Right.
It's going to look like that. And eventually they're going to do is either they're going to say, oh, let's call this a bikini classic, that's what they're going to change the name of it. It will be long because it says fit model thing. It's not going to work anymore because these girls are too fit to be fit model. Right. And even though you try to curtail it, you can try to curtail it, but then bodybuilding is a very influential and extreme